Shabbat Shalom. So this is where a lot of people who are, starting in January of, the Julian year get lost, right? When they get to what they call the boring part, not for us accountants, right? Because the English rendering calls it numbers, right? Which we're all into numbers, and Hashem is into numbers as well. And I think one of the reasons why he counted us is because he loves us. When you collect things, and I don't mean to say it as a way make it light of it, but he cares about us, right? He wants to make sure that we all are known. Uh, when we're less than a minion, we can't do certain things, right? This is an imperative on us to meet. Or we have two, 10 together. Yeshua, this goes back to, and also I want to say this week, it doesn't appear that there's any mitzvot attributable to this Torah portion. Doesn't mean it's not important. It's just that it's not any specific mitzvot tied to this Torah portion. But Yeshua, this kind of goes back to last week's talk about Yeshua. I say talk about Yeshua in that there are many here in our congregation that Yeshua brought us to the dance, right? He's not the be all end all, if it wasn't for Yeshua, a lot of us who were born or raised Christian would not have access, would not have so just as the fact that his followers put the Bible out there is a great testament, that he did in his name. So I say when I want to bring him up in that there is no real discussion about the halakha and the way to follow what Yeshua was saying, right? There's a reason. If it exists, it's not, we don't have it, right? So for whatever reason, his followers didn't bring it out and have their own discussion. Maybe that was because the Talmud and the Mishnah and everything stood on itself, right? So one of the things that Yeshua says is, some people have brought up that this seems to go against the minyan. When Yeshua says, "Where two or three are gathered, there I'll be in the midst." And I think what Yeshua was saying was, where two or three are gathered together, a matter is established. That's a Torah principle, right? So he wasn't countervening the minyan. Okay. When Hashem brought us together in camps, he divided us. In the Midrash, now I'm a big proponent of the Midrash. The reason why is because to me it makes me feel like when I first found the Torah when I was a little kid, right? I was 5, 6, 7 years old, and I would get these stories that I would learn in Bible school, Sunday school, and it just stuck. A lot of people, they're like, "Oh, this is just some kind of Old Testament Jewish thing," but to me, it was like, and then I realized it's because I'm Jewish, right? It was something you realize from way back. You're like, these are my stories and my people. So when I get the Midrash, especially when it comes to stories of our people, it's like I'm reading a comic book and I see all these different adventures that they have, and they're fantastical. The reason why I bring this up is there's a Midrashic story, is that where they first divided into the camps, Hashem specifically didn't put a Shimon next to the children of Joseph, okay? And it got to the point where there was so much war in the camp that Hashem had to make the water that flowed forth, the rock, flowed out, and there was 12 divisions, right? So there was a little creek in between each camp, right? So the people would have to basically have a big ordeal if you're going to go see, somebody to date on the other side of, the river there, right? So Hashem was saying, look, I understand, you've got issues. And so this week specifically, I've discussed this with Atzalagu this week, or with texting back and forth. I got invited to a kavura at work. It was 15 minutes, because we're rule followers. So we had this 15 minutes in between a break, and it was the northeastern Jewish people got together, and they've been meeting for 10 years or so, with these different groups that they meet with, and there was a lot of stuff that was kind of I didn't ask because I didn't want, I was a guest, or it was first time. And we see movies like Ushpazim, or we see Fiddler on the Roof, and we envision I'm going to go be a Jew, and I'm going to go and I'm going to be Eastern European, and I'm going to be Ashkenazi, or I'm going to be Sephardic. And I struggle with that. I want to do that, but I don't like gefilte fish. I would rather have tacos and burritos. But why we're not fit into this. And Hashem is reading through Rebbe Nachman helps me kind of base that out. It's like there's a reason why each of us were born into the situation we were born in. And I think the reason why is to get to impact the people around us, right? If he wanted to, he could have put us in New York or Brooklyn, or in North Africa, or he could have made us Mizrahi. We could have been born in Israel, but we all have a purpose. There's people that were just living in Egypt, minding their own business, slaving away, and then a few generations later, they were taken, out of Egypt by the hand of Moshe through Hashem, and they're mentioned as a father of so and so. These leaders of tribes, right? So a lot of times we don't realize the impact we're having on our children. We don't realize the impact we're having on those around us. We may think we're just going off and living life, but Hashem knows where we belong. And don't let that detour from your Judaism. It starts individually. Hashem expects us to do individually. And then he expects us to work within the group that he's given us. And I would say, if you don't have a group, those online, Benei Avraham is a good group. And if it doesn't work, find something that you can get plugged in, and then within that, he gives the context of the different tribes, and then after tribes, he imparts us to be part of Israel. And even after Israel, we are a human, right? So Hashem has each step of the way where he gives us in a position, and he judges us. He's going to judge the nations at the end. And we can pray, and we can get really involved and ask Hashem to have mercy on our nation, have mercy on ourselves, have mercy on our particular group we're part of. But just be thankful and know that Hashem has put us where he's got us for a reason. And it's okay if we eat burritos and tacos instead of gefilte fish. Shabbat Shalom.